Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? Welcome to Heads Up Play SEC preview for the 2024 season. We have gone over the Vanderbilt Commodores, went over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now we are moving on to our next team that we think that's going to finish in next place is the Mississippi State Bulldogs. All right, guys, let's get into it.
Where them cowbells at? Ling 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 ling
Ding,
ling
ding, ding, ding,
ling.
ding, 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 ding. Let's get
I don't know
into
how
it,
many. I don't
man.
know how much cowbelling there's going to be this year for the Bulldogs, but yes, cowboy. Here for episode 3. I don't really know if we're calling these episodes or
Yeah.
not, because there's going to be 16 no matter what. But yes, we are previewing the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Like you said, covered Vandy, covered Arkansas. Sorry, Mississippi State, you are next. You are not higher on the list.
I got a fever. And the only cure is more cowbells, baby.
What do you think about the cowbells? What's your opinion?
It's fitting for Starkville, Mississippi.
I think it makes sense.
It
I agree.
makes sense.
I agree.
It
I
makes
I
sense.
like the cowbells. I think it's a cool tradition, but man, they can be annoying on TV.
Yeah,
They can
I'm
be pretty annoying.
not 100% a fan of it, but it does its job.
I like cowbells at the right time. Like if you just do it like not during a play, or like do it just like in celebration, hey, cool. But like, do we really need to do it like during a play? Why
Is
is
it
that even
me
allowed?
or does the cowbell sound louder during the daytime than it does at night?
I think that might just be you.
Okay,
You may have
maybe
better. You see, you're colorblind,
I
so
am,
you know
man.
what they
Like
say is like people who lack in one sense, they do better in another. Like blind people can hear or feel better
I was
than.
born deaf also, so
Oh, true,
I'm good at
true.
nothing
Well,
except
you're
heads
good
up
at
play.
adapting.
Except that heads up play.
That's
Correct.
right. That's right. So, yeah. Um, not too high on Mississippi State this year for either one of us. Um, but the big story, well, there's two big stories. Number one, you got a new football coach because
Jeff Lebby.
Jeff
Who
Lebby comes
he's
in.
familiar with the Mississippi State. He was with Ole Miss for 2 seasons. Then went to Oklahoma. Kinda he was what's the dude's name in Oklahoma? I'm drawing a
Brent
blank right.
Venables,
Yep,
OC for
He was
Brent
Venables
Venables.
OC the 2 years that Venables has been there so far. First season was a little shaky. Last season did better with Dylan Gabriel kind of had him bought into the system. Now he gets into Mississippi State. There's only 2 new head coaches, right? This year is him and dude from A&M.
Mike Elko.
Yeah, Mike Elko. And this I'm shocked that they went with an offensive coordinator instead of a veteran head coach.
It almost kind of felt like a get me over hire. And look, Mississippi State was previous head coach was not the answer, right? They were not going to get anywhere. And
He
they were in a tough spot after Mike Leach's passing, for
once
sure. But I don't really know. Like, I think we talked about it, like after the coaching carousel was complete, and we did not give this a good rating. I think we gave this like a D or an F,
yeah,
for a coaching hire because he's just inexperienced. This is his first time ever being a head coach.
yeah.
Jeff Lebby, I don't know if you knew this or not, he never played college football. He is a graduate of Oklahoma and he worked there as a student assistant. He never played. So he's one of those kind of
And that's rare to find in these kind of days of football.
yes. Um Dan Lanning played like D3 or NAIA or something like that. Um
Nate Oates played Division 3 football. I mean,
yeah, so but I mean to just not play at all is a little odd. Um but here he is. So he loses some guys. Number one guy he loses, of course, and really he lost him before he even got hired. Will Rogers goes to Washington. Will Rogers went to Washington like immediately
he was at
after
the
the season.
national championship game.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I saw he entered the portal like November 23rd or something like that.
I don't, but do you
28th.
blame Will Rogers though? Let me tell you
No,
why.
no, you can't.
You have Mike Leach made you this offense that was set around you and your abilities. Zach Arnett comes in and ruined everything throughout the playbook. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, you can't blame him whatsoever. Um, and look, it doesn't look like
Well,
uh
at the time, he was going to Kalen DeBoer in Washington.
mhm.
You saw what they just did to Penix at Washington. He thought, and he's still there. He got Arizona coach and Jared Fish. I think it'll be still a good hire. It's still a good hire for Washington. But we'll see what Will Rogers can do. Now, can you tell me who Baylor? I mean, not Baylor, but I just spoiled it. Who replaced Will Rogers at Mississippi State?
So the replacement for old Will is I don't want to say a household name, but you've probably heard him before if you're not a casual. Maybe even if you are a casual, Blake Shapen from Baylor. Now, Blake Shapen, I would say probably middle of the road, maybe a little bit above middle of the road quarterback. Doesn't have the greatest QBR, but I mean, if you put him in the right system, I think he can work well. But look, you're losing. He's not Will Rogers. Let's be
Yeah,
real. So you're losing some production there. Maybe Jeff Lebby. Look, he's an offensive guy. Maybe he can succeed under him. But I'm looking now. If looking per the NCAA, um, total scoring offense. Let's take a look where Oklahoma was in total scoring offense. Number 4 last
I
year
mean Jeff
under
Lebby,
Jeff Lebby.
he had
He
him
knows his
going.
stuff. He
He had
knows
him
his
going.
stuff. So, I mean, he did well um, at Oklahoma. I'm interested to see how Oklahoma does without Levy. That's interesting to me, but we'll see. But you and I are not huge on them. They've got a couple other guys. Lost wide receiver Xavier Thomas, who had a really good year for them last year, and they're replacing him with Kevin Coleman. What's with wide receivers and the last name Coleman recently? You
Oh
got
man,
Keon Coleman, got that guy at Auburn, got Kevin here,
I mean,
and
they got a plethora of players. I mean, they got him from Louisville. You got Kelly. I'm not even going to try to pronounce
Akira something like
from.
that.
Where is he from? I forgot what I put on. He's from. He is from. Lee, I apologize, everybody. Let me look. This is going to bother me
I'll
now.
give you a wild guess and say he is from North Texas.
He is from. You also added the Cameron Ball tight end from Buffalo. I mean, you got two brand new tight ends. Let me look.
Kelly Ock
UTEP.
from UTEP. That's my EA College Football 25
It is, it
dynasty team
is.
right there.
So you added those 2 players right now to replace the production of Zalon Thompson, and mind you, he was a freshman when he did all this. Had 500 yards, touchdown, 40 receptions. Not bad for a if you watched this Mississippi State team last year, that's a good those stats are almost 700 yards. Like, if it was like a Mike Leach offense, that dude would have put up 700.
Well, and look, I don't think that this is going to be a offensive slouch. I really don't, because like you just talked about, I think it's the right system for a guy like Blake Shapen. I do think that Jeff Lebby is a good offensive mind. I mean, he's shown it. How is the defense going to be though? That is a big question mark. But you're expecting a big season from Corey Ellington, a safety.
He entered the portal. He was very good under Zach Arnett last year. He entered the portal. Got when Levy got hired, he came back. I really think he'll be. I want to say a senior. Let me look. He's going to be a senior. Yes. Is he going to be a senior? Yes, he's going to be a senior. I think he's going to be a stud for the defense. I think he's going to be their defensive Stallsworth. And I'll tell you another player. I don't have him listed. Let me look up his name because Mississippi State always has good linemen. Always has good linemen.
Mhm.
I like. Where's it at? McKillen Pounders. He's a junior transfer. He is going to be my predicted Mississippi State player. That's going to be when it comes draft season next year. He'll be highly regarded. Not top 10, but like he'll be that one player from Mississippi State's O line that can get picked.
So, on the defensive side, he names Coleman Hutzler as the defensive coordinator. Coleman Hutzler, you may know him as the previous special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach at Alabama. Look what he did with some of those guys there, some of them big boys back in the
Now,
second line.
now
I
you
mean,
know the offensive line coach's cousin is my cousin is married to her cousin.
are you serious?
Yeah, Cody Kennedy.
How about that?
I
It's
would
pretty
say,
neat.
so yeah, I mean, go Bulldogs. Woo.
Hey, hey, ring that bell, boy. Well, let's go ahead and get into the schedule here. So, a little bit, we had one disagreement. My alarm's going off. We had one disagreement in our last episode with Arkansas, and that was regarding their game against Mississippi
Mississippi
State.
State.
So obviously that's going to show up again here. We've got one other disagreement now this time. So we both have them going
Oh
4-8.
wow, you
We
have
both
them. You have them beating Arizona State.
I have them beating Arizona State, and
Wow.
losing to Arkansas. So let's get into it here. Eastern Kentucky on August 31st. I think that's a solid win, easy cupcake game, of course. But then you got to go to Phoenix, or excuse me, to Phoenix is where, or really Mesa, Arizona is
Yeah.
where ASU is. But I am not big on Arizona State. I am pretty big on Arizona. Arizona has, and look, we're a Southern football school, or a podcast, but pretty big on Arizona. Even though they lost Jed Fish, they're keeping a lot of guys. Arizona State, though, not big
I
fan of
don't
Kenny
know, man.
Dillingham
I
and
don't
them.
know. Kenny Dunningham. I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
But I've got them winning a big road game and getting all state fans' hopes up. Then they
Where
come
you
back
know,
home
starting it.
starting 3-0. They beat the Toledo Rockets, and then it goes all downhill from there. So I know Florida's got some issues. That's a big question mark, but oh man, that schedule gets tough. That schedule gets really tough.
I mean, this is the type of year with the SEC. You have your really bottom tier, and then you have your top tiers.
That's a
There
really
is
good way to put it.
there's no middle.
There's a huge separation. It's a big drop off. Big drop off. Like I think the middle may be teams like Florida
It would be the
or
middle. I would look at the middle as like a Tennessee.
Auburn, maybe.
And depends how Auburn is. Auburn could be downhill with Mississippi State as well.
Very
Just
true.
depends
Very
how
true.
they are. But
Um, then obviously Texas is going to be Texas. Georgia's going to be Georgia. A&M. I just think while there are a lot of questions about them, I think you can agree it's just A&M's got all the resources. They still got a lot of great players. That NIL. Arkansas, we're at a disagreement. I do think that Arkansas gets that road win. Um, but that's it for Arkansas, as we talked about last week. UMass, of course, and then Tennessee. Look, that's a tough 3 games there to end the season.
yeah, they're gonna go 0-3. They're gonna go 0-3.
Let me ask you about that final game, though. The Egg Bowl has just exploded within the past, 10 years? I mean, it's always been a
Yeah.
great rivalry, but like since they've started putting it on Thanksgiving night, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's what I look forward to I
that's
look
what I
forward
want.
to eating and the Egg Bowl.
That's what I watch every night. It's the Egg Bowl. Egg Bowl. You gotta watch the Egg Bowl like at night. That's you go eat, you watch the Egg Bowl, and then you go Black Friday shopping.
That's it. That's literally it. I think that the Egg Bowl, I mean, we need to have a segment on Heads Up Play on the regular podcast of best rivalries in the SEC alone. Because I think
Uh,
the Egg Bowl might be number 2 behind the Iron Bowl. I'll be honest with you.
well, we can get into that. We'll get into that because I definitely think with Texas in the SEC now, you have A
That's
and
a
M
good
and
point.
Tech.
That's a
So
good point. That's a good point.
you got them back into it.
That is a good
So
point.
you have Mississippi State going 5-7,
I had them going 4-8.
4-8. Oh, who do you have them? So you
So I
have
have them losing to Arkansas.
okay. All right, that's what I have. I have 4-8 as well. I have them actually though losing Eastern Kentucky. I mean, beating Eastern Kentucky, losing not Oklahoma State, Arizona State, beating Toledo, and then losing the next 4. and then winning back to back against Arkansas and UMass, and then losing the last three.
I can
I
see it.
I'll tell you
I think
one game though, an upset alert,
okay.
possibly Toledo. Toledo's always good at football.
Now, they had that quarterback last year, who was just incredible. And did he end up going anywhere, or I think he might have been a senior or something. I can't remember
I
his
think he was.
name,
Yeah, I can't
but
forget.
he
I
was
forgot.
really, really good. And I like that coach for Toledo, or did he end up going somewhere? I can't remember. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't look at any game though on here.
Possibly, if I want to pick an upset, though, I mean, being realistic, they're probably gonna beat Toledo. I would look at Florida. It's Florida at Mississippi State. If it's a nighttime game with the bells are rocking, Florida's already kind of it depends because Florida starts the season tough. Florida starts it.
That
That's what I'm
could be
saying.
a shift moment for Florida
It
if that
depends what Florida they get. If they get a Florida that's 1-2 after losing to Miami and A&M, or if they get a Florida that's 3-0, it depends. I really
watch out if Mississippi State pulls an upset over Florida, Billy Napier is gone
in week
because they will
4.
then get into the gauntlet of their schedule and they're not winning a game.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not
No,
winning a game.
I mean,
But guys, I think that does it for our Mississippi State preview. Be sure to also look out coming up. We also have episode 40.
oh,
40 of
this is
Heads Up
40.
Play, the
This is
full podcast. So, guys, we do appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow us on everything right there: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We is out in JR. What are we? What do we do?
you stay classy.